Eris is giving this the cue to go.
Okay, let's do it.
So you're going to do that? All right, I'll do it. This is season 3. I believe it's episode 7, potentially 8. I can't count that high. And today we are going, Mark, Haley.
Yep.
We're going over.
Getting 3 bids.
Okay.
Yep.
What happens when you get 3 bids?
To me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because you can overcome what?
The objection.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, getting 3 bids, overcoming objections, whatever. I have a quote for you.
Let's do it.
Treat objections as a request for further information.
That's a good quote.
Brian Tracy.
Old school.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So you give 3 quotes.
Yep.
How does that look?
You want some statistics?
You love statistics?
I do love statistics.
I'm not even going to try to set stats.
All right.
There.
Good deal. So, check this out.
Looking.
Over 60% of homeowners say they are getting multiple quotes.
Source.
Modernized home sources,
Okay.
It don't matter.
I just like saying that because it makes it sound cool.
Only 26% of homeowners actually do get multiple quotes.
Is that because they're lazy?
That's because people lack time.
Mm.
So they're either not getting quotes, they are getting quotes, or they are putting things off.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. How do you know?
Because I still don't have my garage door working right.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah, I know. But I'll get there.
I got a guy.
Is it A number 1? Garage out of Scottsdale, Arizona?
Yeah, they're not here yet.
Okay,
so.
cool. All right. What do you got as far as what it looks like when you prepare 3 bids? What are you looking for?
I'm unclear on the question.
Okay, obviously we know how to prepare 3 bids.
Okay.
You have the if it didn't cost any money, if you could do whatever for lifestyle in the home,
Mm-hmm.
and money was not an object, it's everything that could apply to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's if because things do actually cost things. If this was out of range for whatever reason, you'd have one that probably has some of that off. To get down into it, and then you probably have something that, if I was selling my house tomorrow and I had to put a new air conditioner in, something along those lines?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I understand.
Okay.
So what you're saying is us putting options together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the start. That's where you got to start.
Okay.
Because if someone, a homeowner, is telling you that this looks great, I'm going to get 3 bids. 2 more bids, or if you walk in and say, hey, just so you know, you're my first of 3. They're coming out. One's coming out tomorrow. One's coming out the next day. Right? So the first part of that, we won't talk about, everything you're going to do to show value, but we're going to go start from putting options together to overcome or show value. You need to put multiple options together.
Okay. Now, when you go out, if you're fortunate enough to work for a company that does everything right,
Mm-hmm.
Great company like Tempo, there are other companies out there like that too. They follow great practices. You've got highly skilled people who can install it. You have 100% faith in every aspect of your job,
Mm-hmm.
right, that you're trying to present. And they tell you, well, I need to get more bids,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's probably not a really great thing to hear. Because if they do, and somebody comes in, well, it's out of your control. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they're going to get the best thing put in.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. If
Yep.
you're looking out for that person, it might not be best for them to get more bids.
Right.
What do you do about that?
So you need to understand why they're saying that. There's always a reason, because getting 3 bids is rarely, well, only 26% of the time do people actually get more bids? So that's not very often.
And you know it's true because it's on paper.
Exactly. And these guys said it. Home Advisor. It's a quote. And those guys are all about getting 3 bids because they're trying to sell contractors.
Do you have a useful or fun fact about a 3-bid situation?
Let me see. Let's see.
Ahead.
Government. Well, yes. Fun fact. It doesn't,
What is it?
It doesn't involve us at all. Government procurement guidelines. They require you to get 3 bids if you're going to work with the government.
So this is like a thing that came out, people are doing because other people say it. Its origin comes in nothing that pertains to owning a home.
Yes. I don't know why that's a fun fact on our podcast, but it's okay.
Well, it's there.
Exactly. It's all right. No big deal.
Oh, that's the other thing, right? Like, so like, if you were to go to somebody's house where they've had, they're in a process, and you just, let's say that here's what your price is, and you walk out the door, but they got 3 other people, right? How would they even possibly remember all the information you give them?
They can't. So that's the other problem. So even if you leave behind the most thorough estimate possible, there's something that's going to be missing that you spoke about that's not going to be on there because you don't have all the time or paper necessary to make all those notes. So when they're comparing you to other people, for example, we were being compared to another company, and I may have brought this up on another episode, but we supply plenums. We have 10-year labor warranty. We registered their equipment, so they have 10-year parts warranty, and so on and so forth. When we took our bid, placed it against someone else's bid, they didn't have a decent amount of stuff that we did. And there's a cost to all these things that we do for the homeowner. When we took all of it out, our price was actually lower. They went with us because of all this extra stuff. Yeah. But
no, there was a client I remember, and I saw it afterwards. I used to be in the field, and this was a very long client. We had a process back then where a referral would go over, somebody'd come out, give a quote, have the ability to find all the rebates, discounts, and all that. Comes out, gives the bid, and there was ductwork in the job because the way the system was originally constructed, it really needed it, and this was a great time to do this. And then, you see the bid after the fact, and then go with that for whatever reason because it was a lower dollar amount, but none of the ductwork was. If you looked at the system, the apples to apples, right? Yeah. They were way higher.
Oh yeah.
So it was interesting to see that. Unfortunate, right? But that's also why you put so much effort into learning how to communicate well, having great processes, making sure that every aspect of what you're delivering is as high a product as you possibly could have. Just delivering awesome things, being able to back it up, and then that's where you get into the whole guarantees. If you get into guarantees, man, that is a great way to overcome some of these objections.
Well, apples to apples. We have a lot of companies of our, let's say, caliber, quality, whatever you want to call it. They have apples to apples because we know if we're going against these companies, we're actually going to, our pricing is a little bit better than theirs just because we buy massive amounts of equipment and our prices are untouched and at least in the DFW. As far as what we can get equipment for. So our prices are, we're able to offer lower pricing compared to some of the names that you see, but still offer the same guarantees. So the 10-year labor, the 10-year parts, the apples to apples, the background checked and employees that are going to show up, all that at a little bit better price, all because of our size.
If you're delivering the the best thing you could possibly deliver, right? Now all you have to do is be able to effectively communicate it, especially if it's which it will be, at a much better deal than what you would find out there. If again it's apples to apples, that's where guarantees go. So if you wanted to, maybe we could go over some of the reasons why people have objections in the first place.
Sure, whatever you want to do.
I feel like we've already covered, like the whole social conditioning part, where it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Why is it a thing? Because it's a thing. All right. Let's break the cycle.
Yeah.
And make decisions based off of great information.
Yep.
Fear of being ripped off.
That's a big fear because of all the horror stories people hear in the news about contractors taking money and running.
Yeah, well, you've got, yes, and that's in almost every contractor, and that's always comes up with contractors that come in during some kind of emergency situation. That's really big on the news. But once you get that stirred up and thinking about it, I mean, it is a possibility. So you're probably looking for a company that's well established. Yeah, it's got great reviews and all that. And that's an awesome thing about working for a company that is as well established as Tempo. It's kind of off my radar. It always was, as far as like if I'm looking to set aside any kind of emotion that might be in that presenting options phase of doing things, because you just don't think about it much from this side, right? But that's also why it's super important to put yourself out of your situation and put it across the table.
Selling from your pocket.
This one here is, there's a person, Sportsy Sports. You're a baseball guy. So
right.
Every time I talk to you about football, you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, whatever. But this is something that affects head coaches, and some head coaches that have been super smart. You'll say decision paralysis, but it's paralysis by analysis, right?
Yes.
And that's also probably why there's so many options you could do. Finding out what's going on with the lifestyle, the home, what the future of that home looks like, to condense it down to the three best ones, right?
Yep.
Because if you come in with every single thing that you could possibly do in that whole thing, you're just buried with details.
Oh yeah.
You can't absorb that.
Yeah.
And there's head coaches out there that have burned through timeouts, done bad decisions in big playoff games here locally. That it's been about having too much stuff, not having a process simple enough that they can make a quick decision. Not that air conditioning is a quick decision, but there's how many product lines? You do a price book. How many product lines are there out there in the?
I did this with one brand a couple of years ago. I looked at all the options and all the combinations that you can put together. There were 352 combinations.
Can you imagine doing 352 options and then trying to say, oh, this one's marginally better on this thing, but then you give up it'd be well, no one has the time or patience for that, and you couldn't absorb it.
No, you can't. Yep.
There's a reason you turn to an expert.
Yes.
So you don't have to become the expert.
Yeah. Yep.
Get it done.
And typically in our industry, people are hot or cold, so they don't really want to wait to make the decision. They want to do it now and get it over with so they can be comforted in their most expensive investment.
Price anchoring.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah. But how's it look like from the homeowner standpoint? What's the benefit of having price anchoring?
The benefit is to understand what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the absolute best system and they want the most comfortable home they can possibly get, that's what they're going to have to go with. But if you want to be comfortable and you're a little more money conscious, then that's where you start looking at maybe not as high of a SEER rating for the variable speeds or the two-stage. Our most common is the two-stage. It's a little more comfortable than the single-stage. So the homeowners that have a single-stage system, they upgrade to the two-stage with us. To
have all the information, right? We got to wind this down. I strongly agree with particularly this thing. And that's also about that first option that you're looking at when you're preparing the 3 options. One of the things that's super, it feels like you don't really live up to somebody's expectations. And this goes way, 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 way back in my career, being very young and just, I've almost made a decision for somebody, right? And so what the negative outcome from that, if they don't have all their information, what will happen is they make the decision, they trust you. You didn't give them all the ability to choose from a range of things. And if somebody comes in and goes, oh wow, you have a little bit better lifestyle impact from your air conditioner if you had just done this. If the answer is I was never told, it's bad. If the answer was that wasn't really a priority when I made that decision, and I understand that, that's fine. But if it's I was never told, it's you didn't live up to what you were your responsibility in that situation. And that's not a good thing, but we coach around that, and no one should have to worry about being put into that situation around here. So we're going to wrap up for this week.
All right.
Do you have anything awesome to share?
I was going to do a little role play with you, but
no role play.
I was going to ask
you. Want to run long?
Yeah, let's run long.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, how do you handle it when a homeowner, actually,
I'm ready.
if
I'm good to go.
a homeowner would have said that, which I'm sure they never did,
okay,
how would you handle it?
Said what exactly?
I'm going to get 3 more bids.
You can get 3 more bids?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? All right. Well, is there anybody else who needs to have any kind of information we can bring in? Because I can always come back if that's the case.
I should be able to get these bids maybe over the next couple of days.
Oh, what I meant by it, I'm sorry for not being clear. Is there someone else that you're going to discuss all this information with and then come to a decision?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to talk to my wife.
That's awesome. Maybe just call around.
Yeah.
When are you going to be available with your wife, and I can come back and then give you all the information based off our bid?
Maybe give me a couple of days. I haven't even started calling around. I don't know how you guys are in my house every day. I mean, every year. I did a little remodel, and it took like 20 calls to get somebody out. Is that what it is in the HVAC industry?
No. What we would be able to do is provide you a next day install. I know it's starting to get hot outside. Your air conditioning's limping along. If I'd hate to have you have to go to a hotel or something for the end of the night. I do have an opening in the schedule. Is your wife going to be home today?
Oh yeah, at least she comes home
If
every
you want
night.
to, you do your little bit of research. That's fine. I want you to feel as comfortable about the situation as you possibly can. What time does she get home?
4:30, probably.
So I could clear up my schedule. Maybe give you a little bit of time to have a little bit of pre-discussion. What if I get here around 6?
You can do that?
I can do that.
Oh.
So I'll get here. We'll go over all that. That way you don't have to explain stuff that maybe is hard to explain and play telephone.
Yeah.
And we could all talk together. And
Sure.
Does it sound good?
Yeah.
All right. I'll get that on the board. Yes, no, reset.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The 3 outcomes.
Yeah.
Yes, no, or reset.
There you go.
I like that.
I was just shooting
like
that to begin with.
All right.
All right.
Nice.
Cool. All right. I like that type of stuff. We probably should do more stuff like that.
I'll do mine next week.
Plus, also, it's kind of off the cuff. I'll go back and look at it. I'll find areas for improvement.
There you go.
Because I wasn't prepared, but that's awesome.
Hey, I'd like to surprise you because you surprise me every other week.
Let's do. Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's how keep it fun, right?
That's right. That's right.
We like to have fun at work at Tempo. If you know anybody who works in the industry that moving into town, or if they're here and dissatisfied with what they got, or they just want to know more about the industry, you can leave a comment. We'll try to get back to you as fast as possible. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again next week. Eris has got something for me. Oh, talk about the Tempo Club. Tempo Club.
Yes, join it.
All right, cool. Tempo Club is an annual program where we come out twice a year. A lot of times we'll talk about doing maintenance That's what we're talking about. We're coming out twice a year, 15% off. You get loyalty rewards towards
replacement
when it's time.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.